I knew that was going to happen. I screwed up the whole intro there. But that's okay. Give us a second here. Let's take that down. Oh, what a genius I am, huh?
I have no idea what's going on.
All
We're
right.
good. Nobody else does either.
No, it's kind of par for the course with the DAG show that we have these problems. So everybody, and that's your camera over there.
Mhm.
So everybody, welcome here to the DAG show tonight with a new segment called Sit Down with DAG, and we're here tonight with Heather Goldsmith. And Heather Goldsmith works in the healthcare field, and we're going to talk about COVID, drink some wine. And she has some very interesting perspective on all of this. So, anyway, thank you for having me here tonight, Heather.
Thank you for making the drive.
Well, yeah, it was only 9 hours. It was a 9-hour drive. I went through 9 states to get here. And again, remember that's your camera.
Yeah.
So
I like looking at myself. I'm on camera.
Oh, that's all right,
And we got a goblin in the background,
There is a goblin. Every time I turn around, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at that. So anyway, Heather was great enough and gracious enough to invite me into the home here to with her family and to talk about these issues, because what's important here, this COVID thing is affecting all of our lives, and it's affecting all of our lives in a very negative way. And just to touch on a couple of things before we drive into this today, 47 lawsuits were filed against J.B. Pritzker today on the COVID thing for the restaurant shutdown. 5 restaurants got together in Park Ridge and sued J.B. Pritzker. The lockdowns in Kankakee County and Will County are being defied by restaurant owners. And sorry, we've got a little one over here. That's what that noise is. That's why Heather got up. Are defying the governor's orders. The governor is over his skis, and he's over his constitutional authority when it comes to being able to order restaurants to basically go bankrupt and go out of business. And this all ties to the COVID conversation we're going to have here tonight with Heather, and talk about what her struggles are with it, 1 in the healthcare field, but 2 in her own home. So anyway, say hello to everybody.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I like the fact that Dad wanted to get the story told. It's been frustrating, and I'm ready to speak my mind and my opinions on what's been happening in my COVID castle here.
Well, and tell everybody what's happening actually in the COVID castle.
So, I didn't sleep at all last night.
No, you said you were up until 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning.
I actually got my results at 4 a.m. via email.
Your results for COVID testing.
COVID testing. Mm-hmm. Getting ready to go to bed. And it took, 15, 20 minutes to actually get the results, because they don't make it easy for anybody to log in. You got to make an account, do the password. So I was up till 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the morning, stressing myself out. Just not being able to sleep. My mind's running 100 miles a minute.
And how did your test come back?
So my test was negative.
But why did you have to go get tested?
Ethically, morally, for my patients, I went and got tested.
Okay.
I have my son who was positive, and I learned today it was positive by the rapid test. So if you don't know, the rapid test is actually the antibody test. And my pediatrician explained to me that they were doing both the PCR test, which is the nasal pharyngeal swab.
Which is the one that goes all the way into the back to your brain.
And then now they have the rapid testing. So when you drive up to CVS and get tested, or you drive up to these healthcare facilities and it's rapid testing, it's more of an antibody or an antigen test. So we had that one done.
So now your son tested positive for COVID, which meant what for you? I mean, in relation to, let's just start with your job. How did that affect your job with your son? And how old's your son?
My son is 5.
He's 5. So your 5-year-old tests positive. Clearly he's not on a ventilator, because he's been running around the house like a maniac. And it sounds like there's a basketball team upstairs. and he was just down here playing with at the pool table. And this is something we're going to dig a little more into here tonight on the show, on the sit with the Dag, the sit down with Dag.
Yeah.
And so your son gets a positive test for COVID. You work in the healthcare field. You're a dental hygienist.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that mean? Because there are a lot of people out there who are struggling with the same thing. I mean, there's clearly in Illinois, 300,000 people who apparently have COVID.
Yeah.
Now, it's not 300,000 people in lockdown. So what is this? Well, they're in lockdown, I guess, but they're not sick. So what is that? What has this meant for you and your family? The minute your son gets tested and shows a positive test, what does that mean?
I'm sitting in my car. Mondays I start at 11 a.m. I rescheduled my first patient at 11 because our test was at 11:45. And they told me, we will get your test back to you, results 15 minutes. No news is good news, is what they told me. It's now 12:40. My mom babysits. I'm in my car with my kids, ready to take them over there. I get the phone call from the doctor. One child tested negative, but the other child tested positive. That means I don't go to work that day. That means I don't go to work for 2 weeks. That means I have to, wait and see what happens with patients, with my office, how it's affecting the other families that are in that office, how that's affecting all the patients that I've seen the week prior, 8 patients a day, 4 days a week. That's running through my head. I was in my car ready to go to work. No news is good news. And I get the fucking news. It's positive.
So now what does that mean for your work, for your employer? I mean, do they have to go back and notify every patient you came in contact with since March?
No. And luckily, my doctor has been preparing for this. We've talked about it over the first initial lockdown. It's going to happen. It's inevitable the way that everything is being presented to us that we are going to be exposed to COVID, whether it's a patient, whether it's a family member, a kid going to school. So she took the precautions and thought about what's going to happen. We just took it a day at a time. And luckily, because of the prior lockdown, we schedule 6 months in advance. So my November, I had 87 openings in my November. So we were able to move patients and cancel patients, reschedule patients, and work with it that way. Other offices may not have that. They might not have been thinking that way. They were thinking, hey, we were closed for 3 months. We have X amount of patients we have to reschedule. We need to get them in. But we actually kind of thought about it and played it out that usually we're very slow in September because school starts, kids have sports, kids have things that go on, and parents aren't aware of what the schedules will be. So we call it Sucktember in my office. We had Suck November this year because of COVID. So we were kind of prepared. Or she was planning on it. She's been planning on a second shutdown and what happens and what are we going to do.
So now let me ask you. So is there anything you had to do in your neighborhood in regards to? Do you have to let your neighbors know that your son was tested positive for COVID?
No, luckily I don't because I have pretty much acreage here. My mom's my neighbor. She babysits my kids, so I guess I had to let her know that what's going on. But
how's your mom feel about it? Is she afraid of the COVID?
You know what? I don't think so. She's been over here every day. I told her I wanted to go and isolate in Florida in a vacation by rental. If I had to be alone with my kids for 2 weeks, I might as well be alone in weather that's 80, that my kids can swim and play. And she didn't think that was a good idea. So she's been over here every fucking day, buying me groceries, helping me with everything I need, help with. So
now let's talk about this. How is this affecting you financially?
So financially, I found out today that my boss is going to take care of me, which I'm blessed for that.
What does that mean?
That means she's going to pay me for my time off. She's going to pay me for the time that if I was supposed to be quarantined, which with a negative test, I'm supposed to be quarantined for 24 days. She is going to pay.
Wait a minute. I thought it was a 14-day quarantine.
Not with a negative test. So with a negative test, I quarantine for his 14 days. And now that I'm negative, he could actually infect me. His 14 days are not up until Friday. So he could infect me today or he could infect me tomorrow. So I actually have to be home for an extra 10 days, just in case I'm positive. Yeah.
Well, and this is a thing that for me is a really, really large problem because realistically, being infected doesn't necessarily mean you're going to pass it on. Clearly, there are a bunch of you have multiple people who live in this house, and everybody else is tested negative. It does, and you're in close proximity. You're together. I'm sure your son is in your arms. He's in your lap. He's all over you.
Sleeping next to me, showering with me. I'm going to the bathroom. He's next to me. That's my life.
So here's testament to the argument I've been making since March, and all the research I've done on COVID. Is it just testing positive doesn't mean anything? Which I mean it does in the sense that okay, yeah, so you're a carrier of it, kind of like I'm a carrier of a bad attitude.
Yeah.
And if you spend too much time with me, it'll rub off on you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to become the world's largest bitch because I have a bad attitude. Right?
So I would say a little different. I would say
you would say it different than that?
I would
My
say
analogy wasn't good?
say the negative. So the negative, whether I'm negative, that doesn't mean anything. Because I still could be positive. That's the difference. Positive is positive. Negative means you possibly could still be positive. What the fuck does that mean?
What is that? Yeah. Where do you go from there?
That's what's keeping me up at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning going, really? What is the sense of getting a negative test if you could still be positive? There's going to work.
It's the fear factor.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I've been doing politics now for 5 years on Facebook here, and I follow the data and I follow the details and way better than J.B. Pritzker does. We're in Illinois here for people who might not know. They're not supplying us with good information. They're not supplying us with good data. They're just saying today in Illinois was the highest number of positive tests of people who have corona is what they say on the news.
73% of what? Of the entire population?
They said 12,000 people. It's the highest number. It's double what the normal daily number is because they tested 2.5 times more people today in the last 24 hours than they did any other day since March. So naturally, people are going to test positive for COVID. Now, we were talking before the show about the different types of tests. So, what are the different types of tests? You've had to go through this. So tell us about it.
So I only went through the rapid test, which is the antibody test or the antigen test. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one exactly the word was. That's the one when you drive up to CVS. That's the one, the multiple places, and you get the same day results quickly, or even 2 days, something like that. The PCR test is the nasopharyngeal test.
The one that goes to the back to your brain.
All the way to the back. So with my instance, how it's affecting me is I did the rapid testing. Both my boys did the rapid testing. 2 out of 3 of us are negative, and we have 1 positive. So my concern was, what if he has a false positive? How can 2 out of 3 of us, and we're around each other all the time? It can happen, right? It could happen. But where's the instance where he had a false positive? They're wanting us to assume that we're all positive because he had a positive test. I don't assume anything. In science, you don't assume. You retest until you get consistent evidence of what's positive
Correct.
and what's negative. So the assumption makes us all look like assholes. You don't assume, you retest until you have a consistency. So when I called the pediatrician today, and I love the pediatrician, I love everything that she does. I'll continue to go to her. She takes the time to talk to me, the family, and answer questions. She requested or wanted us to retest Titus, who was positive with the rapid test. So she wanted him to get the one that goes all the way back. And I agreed to it. And in my gut, it's twisting. And I said, yes, I'll bring him right over. But I knew in my heart, I'm calling my boss, who the dentist, and I want someone else's professional medical opinion on, do I have to put my kid through that? It's not going to cure him. It's not going to change. It could change the result, which would mean that I get to go back to work. I could go back to work tomorrow, but I've already been off work for 10 fucking days. So why put him through that test at 5 years old so I can go back to work tomorrow? I've already invested 10 days and I just couldn't do it. If she told me, Heather, you need to put him through the test so you can go back to work on Monday, I would have done it. But she actually said, I was bawling and in tears today, and I never cry and I never get emotional, upset. I didn't want to put him through it. And I don't know, I mean, that's just the mom in me. Morally, ethically, should I? Yeah. But what is it going to change? I've already been home. We've already quarantined. We've already done this. He's positive. We'll say he's positive, and we're all negative, and it doesn't fucking make any difference, and it doesn't change anything.
I'm sitting here listening to you and watching you, and I can see you starting to get a little freaked out and upset, because here's what happens with this. And this is the problem, and I hate to say this, but COVID is a political game now. It's hands down a political. The one great thing Brandon Tudor said about COVID is that it cured pneumonia, the flu, bronchitis. It cured everything. Everything that ailed us for the last 5 decades has been cured by COVID. Go to the CDC website and look it up.
Yes.
It's absolutely staggering to see for 4 decades how the flu and pneumonia was a problem, and it was killing people, to where it is almost evaporated. Now everybody has COVID. And so now you go through this testing, you've already quarantined. This is killing you financially. It's killing you emotionally. COVID's a stigmatism now. Now, I mean, because you go to the grocery store now, God forbid, I'm a guy who has asthma and allergies. God forbid I cough or sneeze.
Yeah.
Though everybody in masks looks at me like I have the plague, and I'm COVID free. I have no COVID.
Yeah. Or God forbid you're from a small town and you share the information that your son's positive, and you run to the gas station, and who's there? Someone that knows you, that you share the information with. Now all of a sudden, I'm labeled. I'm negative according to their test. I'm positive according to their assumption. So I'm labeled. Either way, it's affecting me everywhere I go. Why is she out? Why is she, she's wearing a mask now? Why is she, doing this? Everywhere I go, being from a small town, it's affecting me. I don't know.
She almost cried again.
I'm not gonna
She
cry.
almost cried.
But I'm really upset. I'm really upset that this is the stigmatism or the labeling that's being put on people for sharing the information. It's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. Going to a store, going to a gas station, being in healthcare, it is a virus that is inevitable. It's ambiguous, and you can't do anything about it. Stop putting the blame on somebody. Stop labeling somebody. We have to deal with it. And the way we deal with it is not locking people up. I have a negative test and I'm still looked at as I'm positive.
Yeah,
and I'm going to go back to work.
It's pretty
and
messed
my
up.
son is positive. And I have to deal with the fear of my patients that I'm still positive.
Well, it's almost like, back in the early 1900s, the 1800s, if you had a kid who was a leper, nobody
Exactly.
wanted to be around the rest of the family, even though nobody else was a leper.
I'm a leper. I'm
You're a leper
typhoid
now.
Mary, even though I wash my hands, brush my teeth, wipe my ass, take a shower. Hygienic.
You wipe your ass?
I cleaned my
Why do you
house.
bother with that?
Yeah.
Such a seems at this point.
Because I have unemployment, I can't afford the bidet here, Dad. You know, like I'm living on fixed income here.
Well, listen, you know what I think it is? All right, so we're drinking some wine here, and I'm going to shift gears just to kind of dial it down. I'm drinking a Josh Chardonnay.
You're drinking Josh?
I'm drinking Josh.
He's crossing his legs.
Is he?
You know?
Well, I am. Whatever. You can make fun of me. Everybody makes fun of me about the way I sit.
And
but this couch is, you're drinking a Josh Pinot.
Pinot.
Which I got to tell you, it's pretty yummy. This Josh Chardonnay, you know what I don't like about a Chardonnay? Is when a Chardonnay gets too spiky. When too acidic.
Okay.
Don't get hot about it. I'm trying to tell you something. Don't ignore me.
I call the Pinot the Penis Grigio.
The Penis Grigio. And you said you're not
and I'll
Italian.
have 2 glasses.
Yeah. give me 2 of those Penis Grigios and let me swallow.
On ice.
See where you went? See, you don't want to take me to those places.
Right,
I'm really good at that. So anyway, let's talk about this. How has this affected you financially?
Financially, it sucks. So today, my dryer went out.
Hold on, I had COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, tell this.
I have COVID.
Yeah, right.
No, yeah, so today my dryer went out. And I knew it was going out. I have one that I bought off of Facebook, off of Marketplace, and I drove it in my SUV, you know, from Warrenville, washer and dryer, bungee cords, whatever. Get it hooked up. The fucking heating element doesn't work on it. So I hook up my old dryer that's gonna go out eventually. So when does it go out? When our house is COVID positive. So I call the repair person and he gets my information, says he can fix me next week. Last question. Is anyone in your household been tested around or, you know, positive for COVID? And I said, yes. I said, 2 out of 3, 2 negative, 1 positive, and there's dead silence. So I can't go to the laundromat because I may be positive. I have 8 people living in my house. With the laundry we do, loads and loads and loads every day. And next week I'm supposed to get it fixed, but I don't know if they'll come in my house because,
Who wants to come fix Heather's dryer?
Please.
I mean, really? Do I have to do this?
Yeah.
Well, see, so that's one aspect.
That's one aspect.
It's affecting you financially. How else is it affecting you financially?
Financially, I still have not called my mortgage company and told them again that, with the shutdown. The first time I told them with the shutdown, I'm a dental hygienist and I can't work. I'm closed for 3 months. And the woman on the phone goes, great. That's great. Like I didn't ask for this. I'm abiding by rules.
Did you get a deferment?
I did get a deferment. It's to the end, thankfully, because I was current on all of my bills. But I haven't. I am so depressed and don't want to do anything. I have a list of things I need to do, and I can't
get motivated.
I don't want to call them again and say, listen, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to get paid 80% of my time I work, or I don't know what I'm going to get paid. I don't have the money in my pocket. I don't know if I'm going to be off for the 24 days or if I'm going to be off for 34 days so I don't know. So it's not just affecting me. It's affecting the guy on that line having to deal with all the shit that's going on worldwide,
Well, there's, this is something I talk a lot about on my show, the unintended consequences.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that people listen, especially people who are completely COVID fearful. And there's a lot of you out there. I mean, half the population is COVID fearful. The unintended consequences is this feeling and this depression that this young lady has to deal with. And she still has to wake up every day and raise her children and put a smile on their face and cook a meal and because like COVID, her bad attitude or sad feelings will transition to the children and to the family. And it's a very difficult place to be in. There are a lot of people in this country and in this state that are in that situation when there's constantly shutdowns. I mean, even as a dental hygienist, if you hear there's all the restaurants are shut down, you know it's going to fuck up your work. It's not just that. But here's my big problem. It's okay for Walmart, Target, Jewel, Meyer, Mariano's. It's all okay. It's okay to go out and riot and loot.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay for us to go to rallies, but it's not okay for us to go to work. And the stigma, and that's something I never hear people talk about. Once people know that you're close to COVID, you know, whether it's your mom, your dad, your kid, whatever, all of a sudden, and the smaller the town, you're right, because I grew up in or lived in a small town, everybody knew my business. Now all of a sudden you're stigmatized just trying to go get a gallon of milk or a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So these are things we have to think about. And this is why opening up the state is so important. Not just our state of Illinois, but other states that are democratically run and are in this egregious lockdown situation where you are literally, I mean, it's a mandated bankruptcy is what it is. It's mandated fucking bankruptcy, just destroying one life after another under the guise of some kind of healthcare protocol that really is unproven. The data and the science don't match. It seems ridiculous that you can be here, you can walk into a restaurant, put a mask on, walk past 5 tables with no mask, and sit down. Or go sit in a tent that's completely enclosed. What the fuck is the difference? So you put a tent in the parking lot, and that's safe, but in the building isn't, with a ventilation system.
Right. Well, that actually is the business trying to survive.
Right.
Is putting it out in the parking
Absolutely.
lot. So kudos to them because, you know, they're making.
But it's stupid,
But
is my point.
There's
It's
no
like,
difference.
hey,
Yeah.
you can't put them in the building, but go build a plastic box outside, and that's COVID free.
Yeah.
The gyms can be open. You got to wear your mask to walk in, past the receptionist, but the minute you get on the machine, you're COVID free. Doesn't make any sense. At some point, we got to go, enough is enough. I mean, you just, the world, we can't, as human beings, I don't care what your political position, be this stupid. I mean, but we clearly they are.
They are.
I'm not. I'm a genius. No, I'm not. I'm an idiot. But I mean, really, it's just it's overkill, and the stigma is bad. The attitudes of people are bad. It really breaks my heart to see, you know, to see you. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking before the show, and you know, it's clear and evident that this is very upsetting to you. It's very devastating to you because at some point, even though you get the deferments on the mortgage, you owe the fucking money back.
Right.
None of the bills are going away. ComEd's not forgetting, which is our power company here in Illinois. They're not forgiving your electric bill. The gas company isn't forgiving your gas bill. Your company is not forgiving your car payment. They're willing to give you a deferment, but you take a ding on your credit and you put it to the end and you're paying interest.
Take a ding on your credit.
You can. It depends on the type of deferment you get. But
yeah,
it's real. This is we have to stand up and go, enough is enough. Listen, everybody, we're all gonna get it. We're all gonna get COVID. So it's like anything else, you know, that's a virus. You're all gonna catch a cold at some point. We got to move on. We cannot continue to shut our worlds down and destroy ourselves and allow a governor who is constitutionally way over his constitutional authority and to completely destroy people's lives.
Absolutely. And you're talking a little bit more economical. And I, want to focus on when I look as an average person and a healthcare worker and the numbers. We've tested 58% of the population in Illinois. 7.4 million tests. There's 12.6 million fucking people in Illinois. If we could have done and tested the whole 58% of the population, we probably could have wrapped this fucking thing up and quarantined all the positive and put all the negative people in one thing. You know what I mean? Like, but realistically, the money that's been spent on that's more economical. The numbers of people, I'm missing out. My family is, my one son's positive because 580 people are in ICU. 2,700 people, right, are in the hospital today.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, 2,700 out of 12.6 fucking million people. And I'm at home, and I'm healthy, and I'm able to work, and my kids are able to go to school, and this, I'm ungrateful that 580 are in ICU. I'm ungrateful, and it's unfortunate that 260 are.
Here's the data that people don't understand, and I'm going to hit you people with some facts. Every day, if you look up the data since 2000, the amount of people that are in a hospital every day, it's virtually the same.
Yeah.
The amount of people who are on ventilators is virtually the same. The amount of people who are in ICU, it's virtually the same.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if you're in there for pneumonia or COVID or whatever the case may be. And here's what's interesting, the CDC reported, people don't understand what they read. Now, you remember a couple of weeks ago when the CDC came out and said, hey, only just under 10,000 people nationally can we prove actually died from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening is the way that the media reports is they go, oh, there were 2,000 deaths. The way the hospitals look at it is they go, this person had leukemia, they died, but they also had COVID.
Yes.
So that becomes a COVID reporting.
Yes.
It's not even so much that the hospitals are saying they died of COVID or COVID is the cause of death on the death certificate, but when they have to when they get down to the details, they go, all right, this person had leukemia, this person had diabetes, this person weighed 1,900 pounds and was 68 years old or was in a nursing home, whatever, but they also had COVID.
Yes.
So that becomes what the media reports, because the media, when they go to the hospitals give them the data. The hospitals have answered the questions going, and they have said this. Yes, they tested positive for COVID, but they had leukemia.
Yes.
For 5 years.
Yes.
And before COVID came here, we said they had 9 months to live. The media digs in
and says,
died of COVID. Now, here's another problem that's happening, and this is happening in DuPage County. DuPage County is not reporting. They're not giving good information on their website. The Illinois Department of Health, and especially in DuPage County, is being very selective about the information they're putting out there. And to me, that's very disturbing because, again, like I said before, okay, tell me, great, 12,000 people tested positive. I want to know how many people are sick, how many people are symptomatic, how many people are
like my house right here?
Right.
My kids are running upstairs.
I mean, it sounds like there's a train upstairs.
Fucking madhouse. Yeah. How many people are capable of working, but but they may pass it on, and we may have 580 people out of 12.6 fucking million people in ICU. How many?
Let's change our view.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go to that view.
Still the same.
You cut your hair, by the way.
I did cut my hair.
Why did you cut your hair?
Why I cut my hair? Because COVID. So when I go to work, I have to wear the mask. No, and I wear a surgical cap. So every day I wear something like I'm going into freaking surgery, and might as well cut my hair because there's no cute in COVID. It's just protect yourself. I get my eyelashes done. That's all you can see when I go to work.
I have very long eyelashes. There's always a winning category for me with the ladies.
Oh, I love your eyelashes.
Oh, you have such long eyelashes, Dad.
And then they steal your mascara and the relationship's over.
Oh, no, yeah. I stopped wearing mascara. No, I never wore mascara. Even in the 80s, I didn't do that whole thing. Yeah, I didn't do it. So let me ask you this. What is it that you do for yourself and for your family to kind of lift yourself up when you, I mean, you said you were up until 5 o'clock. You sent me a text last night.
Yeah.
What, as we were, because we've been communicating about doing this show now, what is it that you do to try and create a positive vibe in your household when you pretty much just want to, jump off a bridge?
Right. I'm all about music. So my Alexa, I play her and we dance. And, usually when I have my kids, we go places. So my one son, Roman, has been begging to go to the water park. Just take us to the park.
By the way, her kids' names are Roman and Titus.
And I was supposed to go to Italy in September, but because of COVID, my lifelong dream of going to Italy was ruined.
Hold on a second. Steve, let's say hi to a few people.
Okay, yeah, we haven't seen anybody. My cousin Jesse.
Ron Thomas, the Lag Show. Well, we're at the mercy of the Wi-Fi we have here, but you can always watch this later. But maybe you have pussy Wi-Fi at your house, and I can't be responsible for that.
I'm a single mom on a COVID.
Right, we have a 5 megabyte upload here, and that's as good as it gets.
So good.
So you'll have to watch a show because it'll buffer. And once it comes off the broadcast software, so fuck
COVID-19
you, Ron
is
Thomas.
Real. Stop your BS. It
Who
is.
Who said that?
This guy, John J.
Oh, yeah. But okay.
It is real.
Nobody said it isn't real.
It is real.
So is pneumonia. So are upper respiratory infections. So is diabetes. So is heart disease. So are all these things that we struggle with and we live with every day. We cannot shut down our country, our economy, throw masks on our face, lose all connection to emotion because we can't see a smile. And
that's been, that's been the hardest thing. When I sent my son, my daughter's 19. It's been 19 years or 15 years, and now I get to send another kid to kindergarten. And I send them to kindergarten, and the teacher snaps a picture, and they're all spread out. There's 11 kids in the class. They're all spread out, and they all have masks on. And at lunch, they're sitting by themselves. Am I sending them to prison, or am I sending them to kindergarten? And with only 11 kids in their class, you would think with social distancing, he could go 5 days a week, right?
Right.
How many people? 20, even if it's 20 kids in a class, spread it out. Use the gym. Do those things. There is
but
no
children.
There's
children,
no identity.
It's proven that children are not. They can transmit the virus, but it's proven that they're really not susceptible to catching it, having any problems, complications from the ages of like 5 until like 35. Right. So, the problem is people are only picking and choosing their data because depending on which mainstream media source you follow.
We're worrying about the people that are immunocompromised. We're worrying about the people that are elderly. I lost an aunt at 54. I lost an aunt in my 40s that was in her 40s. If I get to live to be 85 years old, I'm lucky. They're lucky. If COVID or the flu or heart disease or cancer kills you at 85 years old, it's a blessing. Most people don't get to live that long. You know what I mean? So when we're worried about elderly, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, when you're worried about that, people don't get to live that long. And people who live that long have an immune system that's been through the fucking ringer. You know what I mean? They've been through all of those diseases before, maybe vaccines, before maybe all this quarantine shit. They went out, they worked, they lived it, they did it. So being 85 years old, if COVID kills an 85-year-old, if the flu kills an 85-year-old, if COVID kills a 70-year-old, cancer killed my fucking 48-year-old aunt. can't, you know, I don't know. That's the type of shit that makes me stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I would say my advice to you would be tonight, chill out. How about we take a little break, play a song, we'll come back and talk about something happy. How about we play? You know, Ron Thomas was on here and he's busting my balls.
Can we play one of my songs?
Depends, because we have copyright issues we have to deal with, and I have ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC issues. So what is the song you would like to play?
I like "Just Too Good to Be True" by Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
You're a Frankie Valli. You said you're not Italian.
I'm supposed to go to Italy. I think I am in my second life or my past life. I think I'm Italian.
All right. You sound Italian.
We talk.
Okay.
Why I actually watch Dad's show is I think he cusses just as much as my family.
And guess who didn't swear that much so far today?
He told me let it loose. You know, I know.
No, I want you to be yourself. You know, it's important. You know, it's too good to be true. All right, hold on a second. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story about this.
Well, they played this during COVID.
Hold on.
When the lockdown in Italy, and it was awesome.
Okay, it's been all about you.
I know. It's a sit down with me.
It is. It's a sit down. It's a sit down with Heather. But my dad, Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, is like my dad's all-time favorite. I remember growing up. I know he is.
Can we get tickets?
Can I finish my story? I don't know. I don't know if my dad knows him. Anyway, Frankie Valli and then the Jersey Boys, who was, that was Frankie Valli.
That was Frankie Valli.
So my dad, I remember when I was a kid, we had the 8-track in the car, you know? And all we listened to was Frankie Valli and who else? Oh, why can't I think of his name? I'm going to think of it.
Say his name, say a song, I can do it.
No, it's a different artist.
It doesn't matter. I'm tripping.
Don't get fucking hot about it. I'm right here. All right, let's play some Frankie Valli. We'll be back in just a minute.
Enjoy it.
And yeah, we'll talk some more here with Heather and find out. Let's find out what she's got planned for her future. See if she's going to be single forever.
I love your mom too. The password is penis. That's what my cousin said.
Hey, Goldsmith.
So my cousin wasn't going to watch you because of political differences. But I said, you know what? I said, Dad's show, he actually has all points of view on his show. Yes. I don't agree with everything that you say, but I like the real. I like the raw.
I'm not for every palate, but what I do bring and I pride myself on is facts.
Yes.
So you go ahead. I'm happy that people vote. Yeah. I'm happy that people, I don't care who you vote for.
Right.
So as long as you're voting on the facts. Now, if you're going to vote on the rhetoric, now I got a problem with you. But vote on the facts. And we're, you know, it's impossible to do a show and not talk about some of that. Sure. When we come back after a little Frankie Valli, we're going to pour some more wine and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about some other things. All right? You're doing a great job. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for having me here.
It's awesome.
All right, shut up now. It's Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons.
Do you have a microphone? A real microphone?
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so. At long last, love has arrived. I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Hard in the way that I stand, there's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words that but if you feel like I feel, please let me know that that it's true. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You feel like heaven to touch. I really hate so much. I feel like love has arrived. I'm so bottom of the line. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Let me love you.
No, there you go, little Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed
Well,
instead of that
they'll
rock
mute it.
music, you know.
Now remember, guys, go to the Dag Show at facebook.com/the Dag Show, and you can see all the other videos we do. Last Saturday, just had my first interview I've done in over 20 years, and Dino Manzella did that, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Ron Thomas, he's a drummer from Valeside, which was the song we played at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to be doing an interview with him.
Oh my God! All the
Look at
people,
all these beautiful people.
I don't know.
And it's like being broadcasted right now in like 7 pages, so we're not seeing all the comments.
Yeah,
but
it's funny. The ones that we are seeing,
a lot of my fans,
they're calling you Sag, the clown show.
I
know. My mom's telling me she loves me. You know.
Where is she? I thought she was coming over.
I thought she was coming over too.
Why don't you call her?
The first time.
Call her, tell her to come over and get on the show with us.
Kaylee, call your grandma.
Okay, call Grandma.
It's the first time ever that she's not been. COVID, she's over here every 5 fucking minutes, and tonight she's like hiding.
So tell me a little bit more about yourself. So let the there's Kay. Hi, Kay.
Hey,
Come say hi. You just.
They want you to come over. Hello.
This is my daughter Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee.
So how COVID has affected Kaylee is Kaylee was actually a Division I cheerleader for the University of Texas. The first.
Come on, Grandma.
We don't want Nana at the house.
No, she's coming.
So she.
All right. So
Kaylee was a D1 cheerleader. She was actually.
So was I.
Ponytail.
No,
fake eyelashes.
I didn't. I can't cheer.
She was the first cheerleader from Sandwich to go D1.
Really?
Yes. And now she's home.
Come on, kid.
She's home. She's home, Dad, and she's doing everything that I never wanted my daughter to do. She's talented. You go to school, you get your education, you cheer, and you live college life. Now, she's home, working 2 jobs, COVID has shut them. She's engaged.
Engaged.
Bought a new
To a
car.
military guy too, right?
In debt, yeah.
Good for you.
Yep,
Thank
God
him.
bless,
Thank
yeah.
him for his service.
An awesome guy. Thankfully, he has picked up some of the financial responsibility of me having 3 kids. So, oh,
Well,
here he is. Hey, happy Veterans Day coming up.
Hey, you're the military
You're
guy?
not
Get
on the
over here.
camera.
You gotta get over here by Kaylee.
Hey.
What's your name?
My name's Jake.
Jake, how are you? What branch of the military are you in?
I was in the Army.
Okay. Are you still in the Army?
No, I just got out.
You just got out. Well, both my boys were in the Army.
No kidding.
He was a paratrooper.
You were 82nd or 101st?
No, I was actually with the with 241st, which is Arctic paratroopers.
Oh, okay.
He stuffed the chutes. You gotta trust that.
Hey, don't get hot about it. Well, my son Tyler was 101st Airborne. And my son Timmy is a 2nd Lieutenant Army Ranger.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he's a badass. They're both badasses. Tyler went to Mosul and liberated Mosul.
Yeah, God bless those guys. They're tough-headed individuals, man.
Yeah.
They get it from their dad. From their dad.
From their dad. Yeah.
From the dad.
Well, thank you for the service that you put in, kid.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it. And treat that young lady
Yes.
well.
He does.
Yeah.
You're engaged, huh?
Yeah.
So young kids are engaged.
At 19.
Yeah.
COVID has made them move forward.
My brother's calling.
Oh, the kid.
Dude, I'm doing a show. You always call me during the show. I always tell you I'm doing a show.
You should have let me answer it, Dad's secretary.
Here, you want to talk to you? Here, we can put him on speakerphone. Hey, kid, say hi. Everybody knows the kid on my show. Say hi.
Hello?
Hello. Hola. ¿Cómo
He owns
estás?
Mike's Drum Shop in Villa Park, Illinois.
Hola.
You're live.
You're live,
Oh,
kid.
okay, well, hello, everybody.
Say hi to Heather.
Hey, Heather.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't know I was live, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
You should know better. You should follow your brother on fucking Facebook and know that he's
doesn't.
live at 8:30.
He's not a big Facebook guy.
No,
Good for him.
Yeah,
He probably sleeps well at night.
Yeah, I've been. The whole Facebook thing is kind of changed with COVID and politics, and so
yes.
used to be a little more active on Facebook, but maybe things will change after the election. Who knows? Maybe I'll become a little bit more active, but right now I try to stay out of the crossfire. So
Smart man.
Well,
I'm busy running a business, and
what business is that, kid?
that's Mike's Drum Shop in Villa Park. So,
Everybody stop by Mike's Drum Park.
Well, here, I can actually do this. Watch this.
Oh, you have it?
Look at that.
There.
I can put this right up on the screen. Mike's Drum Shop, Villa Park.
How you doing? Buy, sell, and trade.
Well, Mike's Drum Shop is the, if you know anything about drums, he's
Eardrums? I do.
No, not eardrums. But Mike's Drum Shop sells all the highest end drums, and he's only one of a handful of, legitimate dealers in the country that sell these unbelievable kits. So
I'm calling you for my Titus.
And he's the drummer in our.
In what?
Our.
ABBA?
She lives. No, not ABBA.
All right.
All right.
You're not supposed to pretend you don't know who Ara is.
I don't know.
She doesn't know.
No, I know.
She's a fucking hillbilly. I just defined that out when we took a break. So that's all I got.
You get to know somebody.
Hey, I'm signing my kid up for drum lessons. Mike's Drum Shop.
You got to go to Villa Park.
I don't care. I'll do it.
No, it's the best. It's
you
the best drum shop in the
hammers
country.
to my wall. We're getting him drums.
All right. Well, you got the hookup now.
All right. Now we're doing it.
All right, kid. Listen, we got to get back to this interview. I appreciate you calling me. I love you. I'll talk to you in a little while here.
I love you too. I completely understand and enjoy the show. I'll try to jump on and take a listen.
All right. Well, do it.
He didn't say Allah. He said Abba.
It's Ara.
Ara, Abba.
Whatever.
It's all the same. All right. I got to go. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Anyway, that was the kid. My brother's actually a very famous drummer in Chicago.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
I don't get
who
out
he is.
much. And if I do, I travel out of the country. But you can't blame me, probably, for all the shit that's going on here.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if the country is any better
I don't know.
anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is the world any better?
No, you know what? Actually, you bring that up, and I just got off the phone with my cousin in Belgium, who's not, he's not blood cousin, but family friend cousin. And he was exposed to someone with COVID, and they don't have tests there. They don't have tests to test you if you're positive or negative, so they just say you're positive and stay home in quarantine. So.
And that's in Belgium.
And that's in Belgium. And he called me and he said, "Look at." He goes, I'm gonna take a walk in the street," and he showed me the camera, and there was fucking nobody in the alley, no one on the street, nothing. He goes, "We have a curfew."
Well, Russia today and Germany announced Germany's doing a lockdown in bars, restaurants, and movie theaters for a few weeks, and Russia's in a complete lockdown.
So can you explain to me, because I don't know this much of, if it is, I don't follow politics, I don't really listen until now it's actually happening in my own backyard or in my home. So if it is a political ploy, why is it happening worldwide? Why are we seeing Belgium locking everything down? Why are we seeing the closures of everything? And it's not just happening here in Illinois or the United States, where everyone's saying it's politics that's driving this. So why is it worldwide? It's a pandemic. It is real. But why would Belgium shutting down affect the politics here in Illinois or in the United States?
Well, first of all, you have to take into consideration that the United States is the most important nation in the world. Our gross domestic product today is at 33%, unheard of. Nobody's ever seen that. There's not a nation that's done it. We are a society that consumes the majority of everything manufactured in the world. So when we fart, the rest of the world farts. When we buy things and say that a TV is important or a new car is important, the whole world follows along. So people want to follow that lead, and they want to be, other countries and nations want to be like America. But didn't
it start in Europe first?
Well, no, you mean no? It started in China.
China, right?
Okay, now
Europe,
Governor Cuomo right now today came out and blamed Trump for everything said. It came from Europe, and Trump is 100% responsible for every death in the United States, which is just absolutely preposterous and ridiculous.
Political or not, it doesn't
Hey
make
guys, you guys are on. You want to come over here and talk? Because we can hear you. They can all hear you.
Yeah, if you guys.
No, come share your world with us. Oh, Mom!
You have to be on
the
back of the
Mom,
camera.
get over here. Come. Where are you going? Come here.
Okay.
You want to come sit down?
Hi. So, Dad.
This is your mom?
This is all my kids are blonde haired, blue eyes. She's fake.
Oh,
I'm the only brown haired, brown eyed in my kids. But they all take after my grandma.
My mom is stunning.
Yeah, thanks.
What's your name, Mom?
Judy.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, Dad.
Well, welcome to the Dad Show and the Sit Down with Dad and your daughter and Kate. So, how do you feel about the COVID thing, Mom?
Well, I thought I had it last year.
Got to be proud. You got a good project.
I thought I had it last year, and I was sick for about 5 weeks with high fever twice, 104, 103. So I went into walk-in care, and they did an hour breathing treatment with me. Prescribed steroids, antibiotics, something for anti-cough, and
like a cough suppressant.
Yeah, and what else? I had 4 prescriptions for things.
And now, when was this?
A year ago.
So a year ago, nobody was talking about COVID. I mean, we've all had the flu. We've all had pneumonia. We've all had upper respiratory infections. So, do you assimilate that experience with having COVID now?
Actually, I think that's why it's called COVID-19, because it was around last year.
Why do I have her wine? Now she's got lipstick. Oh, grab my glass. Now I got a lipstick all over my wine glass. Go ahead.
I also had chest x-rays, and they drew blood.
Okay, but
And they told me that it was, my diagnosis was something viral, upper respiratory viral in my lungs.
Which could be one of 100 things.
Right. But it was not pneumonia, and they tested me for the flu, and it was not.
COVID wasn't a thing then here in the United States.
No.
So again, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here. What does that have to do with COVID?
Yeah.
It was a year ago. Yeah, there's nothing to do with COVID.
When I actually go on the websites and try to research last year's statistics on any, like Google, the Bing, anything, I cannot get the coronavirus is not new. It has mutated, but I can't get any statistics of what the old one was.
Well,
I'm trying to figure it out, because when I look at all my disinfectants at work, it'll say including the coronavirus.
COV-1. Well, first of all, COV-1 is SARS.
SARS.
Okay, and COV-2 is COVID-19.
Okay.
COV-1 and COV-2. Now remember, we have a treatment for COV-1 for SARS.
Yeah.
COV-1 and COVID-19 is exactly the same 78% of SARS. It's the same.
Yes.
So it's treatable to some degree with the same medications.
Or that's why our percentage of recovery rate is so high.
The other thing is that in both illnesses, and this is data, folks, that I have meticulously gone through for 10 months.
Yeah.
Is one of the biggest thing of people who suffer from this are people with a vitamin D deficiency. Mm. So if you add the vitamin D back in, what they're saying in the studies and the Barrington Accord, or whatever it's called now, a week and a half ago it was 12,000 global scientists, 46,000 scientists, researchers and doctors all over the world and the Barrington Accord have now said this is really treatable and it's really not that big of a deal unless you have comorbidities like obesity, heart disease, cancer, things that. But those things. Well, hold on. Those things make any fucking illness you have a problem.
What American doesn't have? Comorbidity, obesity. What American doesn't have?
This guy. Look at how beautiful I am. I'm adorable.
Yeah.
From a distance at night in the dark.
Realistically,
Judy, come on. No, I mean, but so the reason people suffer more from. By the way, you took my wine glass. You got lipstick all over that one. Why are you wearing fucking lipstick anyway?
Let me just say, I haven't drank.
I hate lipstick.
Look at me. I appreciate this social time because I haven't had.
So that's an excuse.
Don't fucking laugh. No. When you're on listen, when you're on COVID lockdown, you don't get any fucking social time. This is cool. Your interview with Linda was cool. I laid in bed on a Friday night and I watched people interact and I felt like I was sitting at a fucking bar or at a table or at a kitchen table. No, it's not funny.
Why don't you come around, Judy?
No, but it's really not funny.
No, I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm not talking. No. It's.
You're having fun.
I needed it.
Salud, baby.
I needed it.
Now my fucking glass has lipstick on it.
Oh my God. And I couldn't tell one difference from one Josh to the fucking other Josh.
This is the beauty of this. So here we are in the house.
Is this going all night?
No, it goes as long. It goes until I say it's done.
That's what I'm
But the kids are running around, the family's here. This is what this is all about. Now, let me tell you something. Governor Gavin Newsom in California instituted a mandate today for Thanksgiving for California residents. You ready for this?
No.
You can only have up to 3 factions of your family in your home.
3 fractions?
Factions.
Oh,
so in other words, like 3 families. In other words, like you.
My mom's
one of them. How big?
Yeah. No, my mom's one of 10, and I'm one of 48.
Okay, but listen to me. So you can have like, let's say, me, you, and you can have your family, you can have your family, you can have you. But you have to. This is a mandate. You have to wear masks the entire time, except when you're eating. After you're done eating, you have to put your masks back on. And in the mandate, he's saying you are not allowed to sing, chant, or talk closely to anybody.
Do people usually sing and chant like that?
Fucking A, I'm going to sing and chant at everything I do from now on. I'm a singer and a chanter now. But this is where...
No, that's dumb.
That is madness.
That is dumb.
You are not... So at Thanksgiving, your governor's telling you in your own home, Judy, that you have to wear a mask when you invite your daughter over.
And her 80 close relatives, because she said 10 siblings. And
no, I think they limited it to a
can't.
certain amount of people.
There's 96 people in our family.
Well, okay, who has 96 people over?
The Goldsmith.
Yeah, we all go to my parents' house for Christmas.
No, we actually come here. Well, I got the house.
Last year,
I would kill myself if 96 people came to my house.
It is the best thing you'll ever experience.
Are you guys doing Thanksgiving this year?
Yeah. We were supposed to do Halloween.
Yeah,
just so you know, I got nowhere to go.
Well, COVID positive made me cancel.
Well, I'm not just going to show up.
Right. But COVID positive made me cancel the Halloween party. And we were doing a celebration of life of my aunt who died at 54 of cancer. Luckily, it was hospice, so we were all able to be at her house. If it was in a hospital, maybe nobody could have been there. She would have died fucking alone, right? I don't know. So luckily, we could all be there. We were supposed to be here Halloween, celebrating her life, having it with friends and family, but we can't help that our family is 100 fucking people. That's our family, and we all live here in Plano. And so you tell me that only 10 of us, or 20 of us, or 50 of us can fucking come? Fuck you.
Who makes all the food?
We all do. Something.
You guys are any good cooks?
Fucking everybody is.
What
are you talking about? Hey, are you hungry? You're gonna fucking eat. You like to eat? You like to drink?
I love to eat.
Then you grab a fucking plate.
I love when Judy calls me Dad. I just like the way she says it.
Hey, Dad.
What are you doing, Liz?
How you doing? Yeah. This is going wrong.
Well.
Oh, this is why I've been friends with Platt for so long. Now you're gonna understand.
Platt's a maniac.
That's my nephew.
I love Platt.
Tommy's one of my best friends. I'll tell you an interesting story about Tommy. Him and I were talking. We were getting all liquored up one day at my house, and
on a Monday.
On a Monday, you know, I think he slept in a chair in my house.
His
Jen
dad's
almost
calling
murdered
him.
me.
He's like, I'm just gonna let it go to voicemail, or I'm gonna go start my car and let him think I'm fucking working. That kind of Monday.
That kind of Monday. Anyway, I told him the story. You know, when my great grandmother died, my family fought over her money. She had left me money. They took it all. But she had left me this cool old stereo. And when I was a little kid,
nice.
Her and I, you know, my grandparents, who I was very close with because my parents were all fucked up, we used to go sledding down the hill at my grandma and grandpa's house. And in the winter, you come in and go with my great-grandmother lived with my grandparents. And she had her bedroom, and we would go in there, and she had this little crocheted poodle of brandy. And she would say, this will warm you up, and she'd give you a little shot when you're like 8. That's the era I grew up in.
Yeah. And
then she'd turn on this little stereo and play jazz records. records, and she would tell me about the jazz records. Well, I told Tommy Clapp this story.
Okay.
One day he shows up. Well, okay, so that stereo and all those jazz records, my parents were, fuck ups. When I was in the house, when they foreclosed on it, and they wouldn't let me take the stereo or the jazz records that was in the attic.
Yeah.
Tommy Klatt went out and found the exact fucking stereo and bought it for me.
Did he really?
Swear to God. He brought it to me.
Wait. This is
I cried like a fucking baby.
This is why we love Tom Klatt. Tom Klatt's the biggest dickhead
on earth.
Fuck off. Anything's rudest motherfucker. But you have a great heart.
The biggest heart.
He has the biggest heart, but he puts on that face.
He brought the stereo and he bought me one Jazz 45.
Really?
And I'm not kidding you. It's like one of the things I cherish the most that I own.
And I
It
know.
was such a sweet gesture.
I know Dag through Tom Klatt, and that makes my heart warm.
Yeah.
Like I met you the first time through Tommy, so that's awesome.
It was really an amazing.
Yeah.
It was an amazing night. I mean,
he's a fucking dickhead.
Oh,
but
he's
you know what?
Prick.
But don't let anybody know that he's a fucking nice guy.
Well, I took a picture of him and I took a picture because I stopped by the trucking company.
Yeah. He should have came over. Every time I go over to his shop, he's like, "Oh, did you fucking stop by?"
Yeah, he's a great guy. Him and I, boy, we had a lot of fun. But he was always there for me. Like when I quit drinking, there was that time when I was at a bad place, drinking so much, and Tom was there for me, man. He what? He didn't encourage me?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we encourage each other. Tom and I have done some terrible things together. What are you kidding me?
I'm best friends with him. That's why I asked him.
Yeah. Oh, it was a fucking pain in the ass. But when it came down to it, he was there for me. It was him and Jen.
Yeah.
His wife is a doll. I love
His
Jen.
wife is my cousin.
You guys, I know you're all yellowhammers out here.
She's a year and a day older.
You're all every fucking buddy in this town's related.
No, so Klatt dated my best friend in high school, and he goes, "Turn the camera off."
Can't turn the camera off. We're live.
He goes, "I'll bet you I can get your cousin to go home with me." And I go, "If my fucking cousin goes home with you."
Don't talk soft. Project. No, they're all yellowhammers out here.
We're not.
We're all related. They're not. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we're not.
I'm just kidding.
Fuck y'all. No, we're not.
By the way, you drank a whole bottle of Pinot Grigio.
And I have not.
And there's lipstick all over the. Lipstick is so fucking disgusting. Who wears that? But nobody saw your lipstick. Only me on the glasses. And you drank my wine and yours. Now there's lipstick all over my glass.
How much wine you got fucking left?
I don't. No, I did. I still have wine in my bottle.
How much people are commenting? Nobody. I went 4 months without working. It was from it, and still can't work the same. No, that's my cousin. He had COVID.
Well, COVID is just it's fucked up everybody's life, and we can no longer listen to mandates that are constitutionally unrealistic and constitutionally inappropriate and not legal. It's time that we say enough is enough. We get back to work. There should be no more stigmatism. You shouldn't feel bad about going and buying a donut and a cup of coffee.
No.
Because your 5-year-old is running around this house like he's got I want to bottle the energy. He's not sick.
Here's it. Here's
testing positive does not mean you're sick.
Does not mean you're sick. It means you're positive. Does it mean you can transmit it? Yes. Does it mean that other people can get sick? Yes. Where is all of this before fucking COVID became a thing? So all my healthcare, like my nurses and all of them saying, well, I don't want to infect Maud that's going to Jewel buying cat food because she's had chemo. Where's your ethics and morals before COVID even fucking became? She has a low immune system before COVID even became a thing. You're a healthcare professional. You are at risk of all kinds of viruses, all kinds of infectious diseases. But now that COVID is a thing, you want to be fucking self-conscious of it. No, as a professional, you are ethically and morally supposed to be that way. right?
Don't sit back. You're
yeah. I'm sorry, but that pisses me off.
Clearly.
She goes, I don't want my healthcare nurse friend
Look at
says.
Judy in the camera.
Yeah, look at her. She like my kids and shit. Like I'm in the toilet.
Well,
but
listen.
my healthcare nurse friend. She goes, I don't want to infect the person who has chemo that's out at Jewel buying cat food for her cat. She's a single elderly patient. But you're in healthcare. Do you not care about that before fucking COVID? They're immunocompromised. They're at higher risk for any virus. You probably have 5 viruses on you right now that are not fucking COVID.
Oh, no. They're different viruses.
Yeah. Hey, wait.
They're more aligned with some shit you get in the 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
Minus the AIDS.
Let's talk about Let's talk about the.
If viruses were going to get me, I'd look like that. You can't kill me.
No, but do you know what I'm saying? You chose a profession where you're around and exposed to. You're exposed to every.
Well, isn't it kind of funny to you that healthcare workers who are exposed to COVID constantly, nonstop, don't have COVID?
No, or they say, "Well, I got it at the gas station." From the pump. But not treating sick people. You got it at the fucking gas station.
Is it Roman? I can't tell you. You guys look the same.
I just got these water bottles to fill these up with water.
That's awesome.
All right.
Makes sense to me.
Lean in. You're not on camera. Look how you see yourself.
Say hey, peace out.
That's Roman. Her kids' name are Roman and Titus. She doesn't have an Italian complex at all.
I love Italians, though. So if you have a house in
Good for Dad.
If you have a house in Sicily, you have a house in...
Or Cicero.
No, the Amalfi Coast, any of that bullshit. Take me there.
Wow, so you're a prima donna?
Yes, I'm at the age where I can be a prima donna.
Whatever.
Otherwise,
42 is not the age.
Hey,
Judy, what's the age of prima donna?
God damn it, Dad, I can afford it myself. So if I'm going to be a prima donna, you better be offering... Yeah, I can offer it myself at 40.
Mommy.
No. What I offer is different.
Amalfi Coast.
I offer smiles. I'm the king of smiles.
I'm a hygienist. My teeth are real.
Mine removed. I can put them in a fucking glass and clean them up.
It's like Democrats and Republicans coming together.
It's beautiful. Anyway, well, listen, guys, thanks for tuning in to us today on the Sit Down with Dad. This is the first episode of the Sit Down with Dad, and I'm going to Wisconsin to meet with Jim Gaudio on November 7th, who's an essential worker, a truck driver, a great follower of my show, and I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a drunken disaster as well, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
He bought me the booze, so...
That's how I roll. I'm going to show up with some goods.
Yes, I can.
Anyway, we love you. Heather, thanks for doing this, and thanks for sharing.
I appreciate it. Thank you for coming into my COVID capsule.
Yes.
You still have...
I'm now...
You have a 2%
By the time
chance.
I pull out of the driveway, contact tracers are going to be sitting at the end of the fucking street.
But what I want to say is for people to stop saying they're sorry. Stop texting me saying, I'm sorry that your son is COVID positive. I'm sorry that you're going through this. I'm sorry that your family is sick. I'm sorry that this. My family is not sick. We're positive. We're fucking living a life of normalcy here. So.
It'll be normalcy.
Whatever.
Normalcy.
You bought me the Josh wine.
I did. Clearly you've consumed it all.
No, I'm a science major, not an English fucking major. So, anyways.
Should have worked for a beverage company.
Why?
I don't know.
Squash?
You could have.
But why? Sure.
I just got the suit.
It would have been just fucking drink. No. But anyways, no. Stop doing that. Stop saying you're sorry. Stop apologizing for fucking people being sick. Stop apologizing for people being in ICU or on fucking ventilators. If you want to pray, if you want to pray for people who have pray for those people. Don't pray for the 389,000 people that are living a life like this, that their kids are climbing the fucking walls, and I'm raking 2 acres of fucking leaves every day, and I'm drinking 2 bottles of fucking wine with Dad. No, we're COVID positive here. This is how it is. Go out, work, so you can support me staying home for 24 fucking days out of the
Contact
month.
tracers, you can reach me through my Facebook page only. Fuck you otherwise.
Do a fucking GoFundMe page so I can get a new dryer. No, just please. It's not that big of a deal.
This might be my favorite part of the show. The lipstick is gone and the booze is gone.
No,
let her go.
The booze is here.
Well, there's only
the booze is right fucking here.
Oh, full of lipstick. It's disgusting.
Stop saying you're sorry.
I'm not sorry.
No, all them. Stop saying you're sorry.
She's only 4 feet 10 inches tall. You should see how.
Don't be sorry for that. It was my fucking
That's
genetics.
what I would be sorry for.
No, fuck
the
that.
poor girl never got taller.
Fuck your mother for that.
Jeez.
No.
She's like one thrust pump away from dwarfism.
I would have got a scholarship. For that.
If you had dwarfism?
Fuck yeah, I would have. Google that shit.
Yeah. You would have been in
I would have had softball fucking.
You would have been in some Johnny Knoxville videos.
I love fucking Johnny Knoxville. Hey, wait. That's my dryer repairman video. Is Johnny Knoxville comes in, repairs my, and he didn't even ask me if I
puts himself in the dryer and dries himself until he almost dies.
When I had the dryer repair people call me, they asked me if I was positive for COVID, but they didn't ask me if I was positive for HIV, hepatitis, syphilis. Shut up.
I asked you all those questions when I got here.
No, but listen. We've all seen the movies. They didn't ask me if I had.
They asked you if you knew Johnny Knoxville?
They didn't ask me if I had herpes, HPV, right? Gonorrhea.
There would have to be some weird shit to go on if you translate some of the
But we've all seen the movies where the repairman comes into a single woman's home, repairing some, right? But they want to know if I have fucking COVID.
Well,
but they don't want to know if I have.
But you don't have to.
No, but that's
touch your vagina.
That's the funny part of it, and you're fucking missing it.
Why is he striking me?
Judy,
what the hell is happening?
God
we got a wine bottle down. We got a wine down here. Listen, everybody, thank you for watching us here and the sit down with Dad and this lovely, beautiful, short woman, Heather Lynn.
Who is HIV, hepatitis, HPV negative.
Thank God.
But no, he never asked me that.
That's how we met.
But we've all seen.
Why are you poking me? She's striking me and poking me.
Listen, you're not listening.
Are we married now?
No. Have you watched the porno where the repairman comes in?
No, I don't do porn.
What the fuck? I don't either, but I've heard of it because I'm friends with fucking Tommy Clatt, right? A porno man comes in. I'm gonna fix your fucking plumbing, right?
Look at the camera.
I'm gonna fix your plumbing. But they asked me, "Are you positive for COVID?" But nobody asked me, "Am I positive for fucking hepatitis, syphilis, fucking herpes, nothing?"
I think I have COVID now. I love you all.
Fuck all this.
Be good to one another. Tune in to Next Dag Show. Go to Facebook.com/The Dag Show. Like, share, and follow. Tell your friends what a mad, mental, crazy thing this is. And get ready for some more sit down with the Dag.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going to see Jim Gaudio in Wisconsin.
Hey, Gaudio, the truck
Jim
driver.
Gaudio. Jim Gaudio.
Molto bene. Hey,
You're not Italian.
I'm not, but I want to be. So, hey, Gaudio, call me.
You want a little Italian in you?
Hey, no, I don't.
You like Italian sausage?
No,
all right, we got to stop this show. All right. Hey, guys, take care. Peace. Be good to one another. We'll talk to you later. Say goodbye.